Hey, Andy.
Hey, Andy, rub my bump. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Franchise Unpacked. This is Dave.
And this is Zach.
We're here. We're doing it another episode here.
We're here. It's a little bit late for us.
A little bit.
Our recording schedule, I feel like, for the past couple weeks has been so, staggered and...
Kind of all, yeah. We usually record on Mondays, but we're here on a Wednesday, a lovely Wednesday.
Yeah, beautiful Wednesday.
Got out of work early.
It's a good Wednesday to be recording.
It is nice.
It all worked out. But anyway, today we're... we might as well just dive right in because it's...
E3's been distracting us this whole week.
I know.
So we've had it's just been, I'm like, we should have been talking about this video game.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
we're thinking that our next few episodes, we have a schedule.
Yeah, we do.
But we think that we might switch it to be more video game oriented.
But at least for the next couple.
Yeah, just because
a lot of big sequels were announced.
E3 has been...
But a really good year.
Oh, absolutely.
A very good year for E3.
And I'm still shocked that Sony has, they just kind of didn't do it.
Yeah. Did you hear, though, that Bethesda's getting into a little bit of trouble because rumor has it that they amped up the audience sounds and made it sound more boisterous than it really.
Really?
Yeah, like the reactions from the crowd. That's
I did
what
not
I heard.
know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, though. Bethesda, they've been slipping a little bit.
Those little shysters.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're not talking about video games today.
No, today we're talking about...
Definitely not talking about...
what I think I would deem it a classic.
Oh, it's a cult classic.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cult classic horror series, the Child's Play franchise.
Yep. Here we are with Chucky.
Yeah, which when I was younger, I never knew that it was called Child's Play. I always just thought it was called Chucky.
Called it Chucky.
Yeah, because everyone calls it Chucky. So who knows what the episode will be titled? That's just stick on and find that out. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. I kind of do want to. I almost want to format it like as if we had a guest here because I'm really curious what's your first experience with Child's Play?
Well, Child's Play, a little bit of history with it. It came out in 1988.
Yep.
So the year I was born. Didn't see it then, that I can recall. No, but it was one of those movies because, like you said, it's a cult classic, and I think we had an awesome time growing up, like especially in the 90s. If you had the Sci-Fi Channel, it was playing. Even if it wasn't Halloween, it would just play these movies, these cult classics over and over. And I would see, I probably saw the sequel to it first or one of this Bride of Chucky first before I saw the original one.
Right.
But it's just kind of in that same vein, Friday the 13th, we did Halloween. It's
right.
The first one struck such a note that it was able to spawn, even if it shouldn't have spawned so many. Yeah.
Right.
But what about you? I was a kid probably surfing through. So I probably saw the edited version on Sci-Fi
absolutely.
Channel.
If it's anything that's on network television like that, they dumb it down so much and they cut so much out.
What was it at Family Guy? Peter turns on channels like, and now back to Showgirls. He's like, all right, on TNT. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I honestly don't remember the first experience with it. I just remember I went through a phase when I was a teenager that I really started to just dig horror movies.
Oh yeah.
And I wasn't like a grungy kid or anything.
Goth
I just I really wanted to just learn more about these horror movies. And Child's Play was something that I had seen surfing through the channels, and it was always a little bit hokey and a little bit cheesy, but that's for me though, that didn't turn me away from it. I was still down to check it out.
Did you ever read the Goosebumps books?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm trying to remember if I read Night of the Living Dummy before I saw this.
Oh, with Slappy?
At all? Yeah, with Slappy.
Oh, yeah.
So, which is, I have to believe, was part inspired from Child's Play. There has to be.
There was actually a, I forget the name of it. There was it was a Twilight Zone episode called The Living Doll.
Yeah, The Living Doll.
And so that's what inspired Child's Play.
And then the My Buddy doll, which is a real doll. People have the My Buddy doll is a real thing.
Okay.
That they call it the Good Guys doll.
Right.
In the franchise, but I'm pretty sure My Buddy was a real thing, and it was very close to Chucky. So I think they were trying to get that of the time, we can really hook people.
Yeah.
And it was. It's kind of one of those films too, like you said, it's hokey because you've got a doll chasing you around with a knife.
Right.
And it's like in Pet Sematary. I don't know if you've seen Pet Sematary, the original one.
Forever ago.
Or the new one.
I read the book when I was too young.
Yeah, in the original, spoiler alert, the little baby boy gets killed by a truck and they bring him back and he chases people around with a scalpel, laughing and giggling.
Yeah.
And it also kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
Oh, sure.
So it's hokey, and I don't know how the tension is built in these movies, especially in the first one, it's the less you see of the monster, the better.
Right.
Because it just has to be that way.
Well, and in the first movie, though, I mean, that was, I don't want to say an animatronic breakthrough, but the animatronics were incredible for the time.
Well, the cool thing was, too, what I read with the movie, and they did it at least in the first one, because the doll, okay, so a little bit of backstory. With you've got, so basically the plot is there's a voodoo fugitive.
Yeah, voodoo.
I take that. A white voodoo serial killer named Charles Lee Ray. And that name, we'll get into a little bit. It has derived from 3 separate murders. They combine them like Lee Harvey Oswald. But yeah, we'll get into that. Charles Lee Ray, played by Brad Dourif, who... his big breakthrough was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He plays Billy Bibbit in it, the one with the stutter, the kid who's always like very bad stutter.
It's been a while since I've seen that.
Film.
But,
and then he was also Grey Worm. No, not Grey Worm.
I was gonna say Grey Worm.
Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
Wormtongue.
That's another movie that I haven't seen in a long time.
In Two Towers, he's whispering to the king of Rohan, and he corrupts Rohan, but then he breaks the spell and then kicks Wormtongue out.
Okay.
Yeah, so but Brad Dourif, always kind of a great character actor, got his start off Broadway and on Broadway. So he's a really good, got that vocal performance, kind of that character driven. But yeah, so he is chased by the police, gets mortally wounded.
And then calls upon a lightning storm to imbue a...
he's like in a toy factory.
Yeah. He runs into a toy store.
Yes, toy store.
Yeah. And that's where the cops get him and shoot him.
And he transfers his spirit into a doll.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's then the very next day,
the right move.
Because the toy store would be open if a man died in it.
Right.
The night before.
I never even thought about that.
The manager's like, no, we need this business. I don't care if there's police tape. Yeah. Andy's mother, Andy's the main character. He's a little 6-year-old boy. Karen, I think, is the mother's name. She's played by Aubrey Plaza in the new one.
Yeah.
She buys this good guy's doll, which is Chucky. Charles, and he starts coming to life. And the cool thing is, like you said with the animatronic breakthrough, they designed the doll so there are several different faces that get more and more human-like. And so the animatronics, you watch them, not only the face change, like just the design, the animatronics kept improving to give more and more and more facial like control.
Well, and it did take, I think it was 3 puppeteers just for the face, because they had one person for the eyes, one person for the eyebrows, and one person for like the cheek and the mouth. And the mouthpiece was actually controlled. I was watching a behind the scenes video. This guy was wearing what looked like almost like a bike helmet. And it had like the chin piece on it. And whenever he opened his mouth, I'm like grabbing it and doing the motions. Unless you're watching on Instagram Live, you're not going to see it.
Medium.
But whenever his mouth would open and close, Chucky's mouth would open and close, and then he had joysticks to control the shape of the mouth. So you can see him like as he's talking, it's almost like he's flying a drone with Chucky's mouth. It's so interesting.
That's wild, especially back in like the 80s.
Right.
That's crazy that they went to like that much detail. And I think they were using, that kind of reminds me of if you've ever seen the behind the scenes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which we will be doing soon.
The live action,
the
I haven't
movies,
seen it. I've seen the movie, but
they had the same kind of contraptions, I think, like a big like separate remote control thing, and then a dude with a headpiece on with like
you have to do it that way. Wild. I mean, for that time anyway.
Funny. The first movie was directed by a man named Tom Holland, not Spider-Man.
Yep, not Spider-Man.
But yeah, it says my buddy dolls were a huge inspiration. Cabbage Patch Kids as well
those were creepy anyway.
Yeah, super creepy in their own right. I read also in the original script, the writers, it was going to be a little bit closer to the film. Puppet Master. I don't know if you've ever heard of those.
I know.
Movies.
I never.
It's another horror film where this guy controls puppets and they do his bidding.
Okay.
The original Child's Play was, I guess the idea was that the doll would have been filled with juices, like, you know how you baby dolls can pee and stuff. This one would have been filled with liquids like blood. And the idea was that you could beat up this doll, and then Andy gets a hold of it, transfers some of his blood into it, bringing it to life.
Interesting.
And then it does Andy's bidding as a little boy.
So that was like one of the original concepts?
Yeah, it completely changes it and makes Andy, I think, a villain, which would be, I think, even scarier. Like this little kid, just dead-eyed kid, being like, kill them.
Well,
like, that'd be crazy.
And so the franchise was actually, it was originally going to be called Blood Buddy, which I think was, I'm glad they went with Child's Play. Blood Buddy just sounds a little, I don't know.
It's so on the point. I think it would scare more people away. Not like you know what you're going into, but like if you're like, oh, what are we going to see? Blood play.
Right, exactly. And I don't know if we mentioned this already on this episode, but we are live streaming this episode on Instagram. So anybody that's watching us on Instagram,
shout out
hello,
to the Instagrammers.
How's it going?
Just for future reference, folks, just pay attention. Usually Monday through Wednesdays, we might throw on live around 8 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
8 o'clock. What's our technical time zone?
Eastern. We are here in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah. But anyway, originally called Blood Buddy. And it's really interesting to me because if you look at horror movies now, take It, for example.
Yeah.
Those child actors, they're older, obviously, than Andy was. But the child actors in this day and age are so much better.
It's bananas.
Than the kids in that era. And
well, look at Goonies.
Yeah.
That's a good example. I feel like back in the day, especially when you had a kid cast and kid heavy cast, if they were leads and stuff, it was, especially back then, it was almost just like, look at how goofy all these kids are and like how childish they are and like shooting, really play into the rafters.
Yeah.
Sort of. Except you have the one kid who's kind of like the main character who's a little more
and
stoic.
Goonies was a speck of gold. I mean, that's one that I think had a stronger child cast anyway.
Oh, for sure.
But even if you watch the first Child's Play now, they left in all of Andy's like stutters and pauses and I forget the actor's name, but they left all that in because you would hear him say, "Well, Chucky came to life," like he's trying to remember his lines and they just left it in.
Oh, maybe we'll make this seem like he's acting like he's really frightened.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, but no, you're right. Now I'm thinking about the new It and just the phenomenal. And I mean, those kids are probably all the Stranger Things kids. That's why I heard for the next season, for season 3, there's going to be a time jump because we've discussed it before.
Old now.
There's no easy way to get child actors into sequels or like in TV series. You'll notice that they just grow up so fast. I remember there were like 3 or 4 Bobby Drapers on Mad Men. His son.
I never actually saw Mad Men.
So good. Sally, the daughter, she remained the same actress from the beginning. She grew up. She's now Sabrina, the teenage on the new Netflix series. But they had like 3 or 4 different Bobbies because he started out as like literally like a baby boy.
Yeah, and you never know how they're gonna turn out. He's
gonna be an Uggo,
right? You don't want an Uggo on your TV show.
And this is a little bit of a hot take still on child actors. If anybody's a fan of Modern Family, which is a phenomenal show, it wins all the awards. Lily, the adopted daughter of Cameron and Marshall, the gay couple, that little girl is the luckiest person in Hollywood because they got her when she was like barely speaking.
Right.
And she's just been on the show ever since. And she's not a good. Oh, she just has gotten, I think, just continually worse.
Really?
Like,
okay. So
they maybe never put her into classes. You can see the other kids in the show have matured, definitely. But like, her character is so monotone in one note that maybe that helps. But like,
maybe it wasn't originally written that way. But
yikes.
So anyway, we always digress like crazy.
We digress.
But so Child's Play though, the first one was. I mean, I don't want to use the phrase groundbreaking because it wasn't really groundbreaking, but it was the first time that we saw that type of horror. I think
it was even campier horror. Being brought into mainstream, and it wasn't just going to end up as a B movie at the midnight release.
Exactly, yeah. It was a cult classic.
Sort of.
But the thing with the whole series, and we'll get more into this, but every subsequent film gets campier and campier.
Hard.
And honestly, worse and worse.
Which, I mean, let's be honest, 95% of all horror franchise that becomes. But this one especially, because I feel like they ran all of the possibly more serious gags in the first one. And then they're like, well, he's a toy. Let's, I guess, just play into that more.
Right.
Like, I don't know what to, like, and it's all just like one-liners. And,
I should pull up like the list of all the movies, but There was Child's Play, Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky.
Yep, Seed of Chucky.
Curse of Chucky.
Just absurd. The Cult of Chucky?
Cult of Chucky was the most recent, which I have not seen.
The most recent of the original.
Right.
Like, I think it was like 2009.
No, Cult of Chucky was like 2016. It was.
What?
Yeah, I think so. I can check.
It wasn't in theaters, though, was it?
No, I think that was a straight to DVD.
Okay.
Cult of Chucky year. And yes, we're Googling this. We do a show every week. 2017.
Wow.
October 20th, 2017, Cult of Chucky. And that's the only one that I haven't seen.
Wow. You
And
you see, I've seen Bride, Seed 1 and 3. So I've seen most of them.
And the thing is, I don't remember a lot of them. And no offense to anybody who's a fan of the show, because I've watched all of them. They're kind of forgettable.
Oh my gosh.
They're kind of.
You watch it, you go to the bathroom, you come back, and you're like,
right,
whoa.
like what just happened?
Was 3 the one that took place at the military academy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 3.
Which is just the dumbest plot because there are guns at the school, but all of the ammo is kept in one room.
Right.
You can still load these paintball guns with real ammunition. It's just the dumbest.
Well,
that one might be the dumbest one.
For the general consensus is that the second movie's the best, and the first one is like.
What happens in the second one?
I don't even remember really. I remember the first one like vividly just because I've watched it the most. The second one is the one that like it jumps right into the action and like Chucky's killing right out of the gate.
Oh, sure.
Which I think is why people like that one a lot because it's
less screwing around.
Right. It's just boom, we're into it. We got Chucky. We got Chuck.
We got Chuck. Yeah.
But it got more and more into like the one-liners and the
corny ways to kill.
Right. And then you get into the one that was Curse of Chucky, which I think was, from all the ones that I've seen, was definitely the goriest.
They go more into the voodoo stuff, don't they?
Oh gosh, it's been a while. That's the one that has the main actress is in a wheelchair.
Yes,
or her character is. I don't know if she is. And it's the one thing that this whole franchise does that I do like is it really plays into the idea of like, oh, you're just imagining things, and it makes sense
especially
for that.
For kids, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, my toy's coming to life. Every kid talks to their toy.
Or there's a monster under the bed.
Exactly. And I think that it worked better when they had a kid that was the one experiencing Chucky.
Well, and then you can also blame the kid. You're like, why did you do that? Why did you kill this thing? And you're like, I didn't kill the cat. It was Chucky. And you're like, you're crazy.
Yeah, and then the kid gets institutionalized.
Gaslighting the kid.
Yeah, gaslighting. Don't gaslight your children. Don't buy a buddy toy.
No.
What was it? What was the toy called? It was a buddy.
My Buddy.
My Buddy
is the real life version.
Right, and then it was little buddies or something like that. It was
Good Guys.
Good Guys. That's what it was. Yeah. I guess.
And I don't know if it's going to be Good Guys again in the new one. And we'll get into the new one because there's some interesting stuff they've done.
Yeah, it's not Good Guys in the new one. I don't believe it's like it's basically like an eye toy. It's
part of a greater thing.
Right. So
from what I understand.
You know what time I don't want to like dive into the future yet.
Yeah. There's still a little bit more because we got Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky.
Which goodness gracious. So
what was her name?
Jennifer Tilly?
Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
With that voice. Yeah, that creaky voice.
That like creaky, sexy baby voice. It's weird. It's weird.
We honestly, for the content that we put on this show and anybody who's watching this on live stream, we cannot even discuss half of the things that happen in Seed of Chucky.
It's
and
extremely inappropriate if I recall.
It's like, it's
borderline softcore pornography with dolls.
Yeah, honestly it is. And like and that's where I think they started to take it a little too far. Like, we don't need that. It's a horror movie. We don't need that.
You jumped the shark. You're backpedaling into, how like I have a good buddy who does, they direct like hardcore, like B-movie horror. And it's gory and extremely sexual, but it's meant to be. I mean, even if you think Evil Dead is just literally the original Evil Dead, I would say is one slight notch above what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
But like they then break into much bigger things. That's the start of their career.
Right.
Even like the guy who Wes Craven.
Okay,
that's kind of like Halloween is it's that indie low budget. You're gonna see some boobies and a lot of blood,
right?
Because that's what we can get now.
Right.
So it's like they backpedaled, like where the first Child's Play was like, this is really new, interesting. I'm not gonna have to worry about any like teens having sex. Maybe a babysitter, but that's like a classic.
Right.
But like I don't have to see worry about a doll impregnating another doll.
Right. Through like the surrogate mother sort of.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer Tilly's in the doll, but also not in the doll.
She's not the doll, then she becomes the doll after she gives birth.
It's a weird runaround thing. And we did have a lot of really awesome submissions from Reddit.
Yes.
Including one person who accused me of just using Reddit to write the podcast episode. So
screw that guy.
Yeah. And if you're watching this, thanks for tuning in. We're not stealing.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a lot of really, really interesting facts. And one of them is that the mom in the movie, so Catherine Hicks, married Kevin Yeager, who was the designer of the Chucky doll.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they met like on the film. And another thing that I heard too was that the eyes for Chucky, they're the same eyes or the same design eyes as the Crypt Keeper. And they wanted to kind of have that tie in, like it's a little bit of a shout out there.
It's like any other puppet from the 80s, like giggling hilarious.
Right.
And saying puns while people die.
Yeah, and again, these are just some stuff that we're just kind of this stuff we are just spouting off from the Reddit because this
is the Reddit writing our podcast.
Yeah, this part of it, this is the Reddit section. But we're so thankful for everyone submitting because we love seeing these facts.
And there was a lot fast.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
And apparently in Bride of Chucky, you can see Jason's hockey mask, a Michael Myers mask, Freddy's razor glove, and like a chainsaw. Like you can see all that stuff in the opening scene.
Did they think it was part of that? Like what were they?
I don't know. I think they're just trying to acknowledge the fact that they're a part of that era.
Do you have to get the rights?
I don't think so. I mean, as long as it's close but not exact, I'm sure you don't.
Now, wait a minute. I got a question for you. And this is a slight leap into the present day future of the franchise. Have you seen any of the posters for the new Child's Play where he's killing, where you're not seeing it, but you're seeing the dead leg of Buzz and his helmet off, and then you see Chucky's hand holding his gun, and then you said there's one with Woody, but there's blood everywhere, and you see his cowboy hat and Chucky walking away with blood on his feet. Are they doing that? It's like a little nod, because it's not, if you look at the design,
because they almost match the Toy Story poster. Yeah, it's not, I almost said toaster.
Yeah, it's not quite Buzz, not quite Woody.
Right.
But I'm wondering if it's just kind of a little, we don't own those other franchises, but
we're
sue us, Disney. Come at us.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, we haven't gotten into legal trouble with Disney in quite a few episodes.
We haven't since I came back from there. I think.
Yeah, but it's but no, I mean, there's this whole entire franchise is just ripe with cool trivia, and honestly, we could spend an entire episode just on the fine little trivia details.
Oh yeah.
But the kind of other things that I wanted to touch on really quick while we're kind of getting into the present and the future, the video games. So here's
I came in, I done research, and I did not know there. I was like, right before we started recording, I was like, Zach, there's no video game.
And I didn't think there was either. And then I went on YouTube and somebody was like, Chucky gameplay. And I was like, what? And it's one of those like, I don't know what it's technically called, like a runner game where you collect
Temple Run.
Yeah, like Temple Run, where you collect coins and you jump lanes.
Yeah. So dumb.
Oh my gosh, it was the worst. I did not, and I apologize, I didn't verify like whether or not you could download this still or if it was only a limited thing.
Was it called Child's? I'm looking at it
I think it was just called Child's Play, but it showed on on YouTube it'll say game you're watching.
Yeah.
And it said Child's Play, like the game, whatever. And Dave, it was so bad. Every time Jennifer Tilly's doll would jump up and stab somebody, and you would just hear a really terrible voice clip that kind of sounded like her. It might have been a pull, but it would be like, "Gotcha now," or something like that. And like you just hear, and some of them sounded like they were just drops from the movie,
probably
that they just threw in there, almost with the sound
effects. There's nothing on the iTunes store.
Okay, so it might have been Android. It might have been pulled.
I'm wondering if it's someone's fake.
I mean, on YouTube, it's been a long day. On YouTube, it showed the art for it, and it said game you're watching, and it was like a registered game on YouTube.
That's weird.
Which leads me to believe that at some point it was legitimate. And then I did see, and these all looked like fan games. There were like GTA reskins, it looked like, with Chucky.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was it looked like somebody was developing a VR experience.
That'd be neat.
Sort of akin to Emily Wants to Play.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's the setting that type of game needs to be in, I think.
It's either that or you make a game where you are the doll, or you can design your own doll, or you have an army of dolls.
I think
something along those lines.
We're going to come back to we'll come back to the present. We'll go a little out of order because I think while we're talking about potential future games,
Yeah.
I love the idea of, if you're gonna do it, be the antagonist. And and maybe you could even do
there could be a survival mode.
Yeah, well, like that one game, the Friday the 13th game.
Yeah.
Where one player is Chucky, and you can go throughout the neighborhood.
15-minute match, 20-minute match.
Yeah.
Real fun. You can have everybody has their own house.
Right, and you got to try to
do something,
survive,
either
team up,
stop
whatever.
him, escape, whatever.
Right, and I think that'd be a lot
really
of fun.
Awesome. Or the VR experience where you're looking around every corner.
Yeah,
that's one of those 10-minute scare the poop out of you.
Yeah.
Not much replay, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll just skin Chucky into PT and hope that they release it at that point.
It'll be fine.
And at this point, anything to play the full version of PT, Silent Hills. It'll never come out.
No,
it's a shame.
Just those teases.
But so anyway, that brings us back from the future into the present.
Back to the future.
I didn't even do that on purpose. So we have this movie coming out, which is already kind of being poo-pooed a little bit.
The new one?
Yeah,
I heard earlier reviews. It got a 7 out of 10 so far.
Really? I guess I'm saying by people who were originally involved, the original writers, directors.
Oh my gosh!
They're looking at it and they're saying this isn't the right, this isn't going to be good. And
it's the producers of the new It franchise.
Oh, is it?
It is the creator. Okay. I don't know if it's the writers, but it's a team involved. Okay. I think it's of the new It series or something like that. And so it's those guys. So they're currently in this. They are apparently the people to be rebooting things, I guess. Well, let's discuss the little bit I know, or what we might know about the plot of this new one, and maybe figure out why they're poo-pooing it. Because I think I have an idea.
I think the reason they are, so the plot of it essentially is that there's this robot toy doll that's able to connect to every device that you own.
It's a company, basically like Amazon, has all of this stuff. You have Alexa, you've got your voice activated stuff, your oven, everything in your garage door, your security system, all runs off this system. And apparently this Chucky doll, or the doll that they provide as well, is
it's able to control it. Yeah.
It's kind of a cute little, I don't know if the idea is that it can walk around on its own as just a normal toy, or if
I would assume so.
Or it might be the Alexa. You sit it in the corner and you say, "Hey, Chucky." So he is hooked up. So it's like Chucky 21st century Wi-Fi. He's a Bluetooth Chucky.
And this is a reboot, I believe. This is not another
Mark
sequel.
Hamill, Luke Skywalker is playing.
I am so excited
That's what
for
I'm
that.
most excited about.
Yeah.
Yep. And like we mentioned before, Aubrey Plaza is playing, I think the character's name is Karen, the mother.
Yeah.
Catherine or Karen.
I think so.
And in the trailer, you do get that, you're crazy. It's not the...
Yeah.
But I did see a short clip of, there's a scene where Mark Hamill, he does do the Joker laugh, or that Joker laugh.
Yeah.
I did see a scene where Andy's got a baseball bat and he's looking around in the family. And it was that same element. You see the shadow of a leg move. Then you see a box riffle.
I do take a little bit of issue with the fact that Andy looks like he's 15 in this movie.
He is considerably older.
Yeah, I'm like, he does not look like he's the age that you would play with a doll.
The same age as the It kids. Which... They might be doing, because of what you talked about earlier, the ability to act.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't expect. And again, we're speculating here. They could have a perfect explanation for it, but
why would he be playing with the doll?
Yeah, why would, even if he was 10 or 12? By that point, you're not playing with a little doll. I am waiting to see
if he has got he's playing with his phone. Originally, he's not interested in the Chucky doll, and then it just starts terrorizing the house. Right. I'm wondering if he's not playing.
It could be like his mom got it for him. He's like, "Mom,
why do we need this?"
He's like, "Mom, I'm too old for this. I don't need this. Throw it in the corner." Yeah. That could be it. And again, that's why some of the original cast members and creators are sort of stubbing their nose.
I also think they're
stubbing their nose. I can't even speak today.
I'm wondering though as well. Do we think that the new movie is going to start with Mark Hamill being chased by the cops?
I don't think so.
I think this could be sentient mechanics.
I think
that
it is.
Might be another. How do you feel about that?
I think that it might be a little bit of a stretch for Child's Play, only because the whole premise of Child's Play is there's this evil magic that's
it's like Michael Myers. It is this earthly curse.
Right. It's an actual curse. It's something that's otherworldly. It's kind of ethereal. I don't know how to describe it. Mm-hmm. And taking it to just a robots are taking over type thing, I don't know. And to me, that already leaves it open.
It's too easy.
We know what the sequel's going to be. They're going to they're going to kill the original Chucky.
Then you got an army of them.
Then you have an army because he sent his data
It's
to the cloud.
iRobot. Yeah. iRobot. Or I'm hoping that's not how they end this one, that he like, or I would like to see him, if I want him to be cursed. I want it to be spiritual.
Yeah.
I want there to be a supernatural element.
I don't think you're going to get that in this one.
I would like, if we do see an army of Chuckies, I'd like to see at the very end, it's him. He's talking to Andy, but he can control them, but they're not sentient. Like,
right.
But he
right.
can control them of his own. So they have red eyes, but they're silent. But he is the ringleader.
Right.
That'd be cool.
And but even so, though, I mean, we're still straying so far from.
You've given him extra abilities.
Right. And he's. I don't know. I think it is an interesting twist so that he can control the electronics.
Get some awesome kills.
Oh, for sure.
Brutal, murdering.
I did see one clip.
Hanging.
The clip that I saw was he cranked the heat in the house up to like 120 degrees, and or it was like 140 or something, and people were like burning on like they would burn their hands on metal and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
You can lock your doors. It does make it the escape element. And you just don't know what to trust.
Well, and we have to remember too, they're playing to their audience right now. We're living in a world where I have a Google Assistant out there. People have Alexa in their homes. Hey Siri, if you have it on your phone, like everybody has that. And I think that they're playing off of that fear that not only is are these electronics listening, but they can fight back.
Here's the thing. Do you watch Black Mirror?
I only saw the first episode and I just couldn't bring
There's some really weird stuff,
okay.
Especially the first episode. I recommend not watching the first episode.
Yeah.
But Black Mirror, everyone's like, oh, it's the new Twilight Zone. It's the new Twilight Zone. I'm like, no, it isn't. Because Black Mirror, every episode, and hot take, I'm not the hugest fan of Black Mirror.
That's fair.
Every episode I watch, it's sets you into this world with new rules. And I'm saying new rules, saying they have technology that's slightly improved based off of ours. So it is like this, hey, don't get too obsessed with your phone kind of, or whatever idea. But you are already, by the beginning of the episode, you're aware, the characters are aware of this technology, what extra things it does for them, how it improves their life. Right. And then you already know the irony of the end. You already know this technology is going to screw you in some sort of way.
Yeah.
And there's nothing supernatural about it. So there's never that main character who goes, what was that?
Right.
It's always like, oh no, there's a glitch, or all this, that, or the other, or someone's abusing.
Right.
And people are aware of it. Whereas in the Twilight Zone, half the episode could go by, and then suddenly there's a dude who appears in your apartment.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, who are you? Why are you in that suit?
Yeah.
Why are you talking? What are you?
Yeah.
It's supernatural. And it takes us in our very real life, which we're in this Child's Play movie. I think we're going to see it. They would do it a service, I think, to put it a couple years in the future, like do the X-Men.
And I think that's what they're doing.
So it's like they have slightly more stuff, like cars being controlled and stuff.
My next question for you then. So that's kind of what we're looking at for the present of the franchise.
Yeah.
What would you want to see from the future? Or if, let's say they weren't making this movie right now, what would you want to see for the present? But really, what would you want to see from the future for a movie? And we've already talked a little bit about video games. So I guess we'll just stick with movie and or TV.
It's interesting because like if this current one wasn't being made, I think I would be like, oh yeah, let's have Chucky interact with more technology, but maybe not in the aspect that he can control it. I think I just want to see more brutal kills with technology we have today. And maybe he does voice command, or he does it funny. He's like, hey, Alexa, this, that, and the other. Right. And then it does something. And you're like, oh, shoot, that's crazy.
And anybody listening to this out loud and your Alexa's nearby. Sorry.
Alexa, subscribe to Franchise Unpacked.
Hey, Alexa, rate Franchise Unpacked 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. But so I hope, and I know that a lot of it is a doll sneaking around and it can get into places you can't see. Like it could be in the vents. It could be behind the couch. Like you just can't see it. It keeps running around, skitter, scatter, skitter. I kind of want to see like vicious Chucky, going like feral mode.
Well, and I think for that, I don't know. I'm torn because there are so many remakes and remakes now, but I think that, and again, we'll see how this one turns out. I'm going to give it a fair shot, but
it is doing a very graceful job.
Yes.
Even though they pushed it into the 80s and modern day where the book was 50s and 80s. Like, of course, but it's very seamless.
I think that I would like to see a modern day Child's Play remake where it is still the murderer that gets killed and voodoos his way into a doll.
I really hope that's the case.
And It's not going to be in this one. I can almost promise you it's not. But I would like to see that. I'm trying to reach for my water now and I can't see it. There we go. I would like to see something that's more of a 1-to-1 remake with a better kid actor, better adult actors, better special effects.
You could set it in the 80s. We do such a good job now of like, do it. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's do. It's almost like this is the perfect content to do almost a shot for shot,
right?
Which I absolutely hate. And any artist and filmmaker should never consider. Like if you saw Psycho, Psycho is the just atrocious. I cannot believe with Vince Vaughn.
I never saw it,
and it was. When I say shot for shot, it is literal. Like
really,
yeah, like they did it, and the idea that even with like using the same, like you're in a car and it's like a green screen behind you.
Really?
Kind of like old timey 60s.
Interesting.
Effect. Yeah. And it is offensive if you're like a filmmaker, I think.
Yeah.
I would just be, if I was Hitchcock, would have spun out of my grave.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
And I'm not saying Child's Play has to be a 1-to-1 remake like that, but I think it needs to be a 1-to-1 remake in the sense of
the spirit.
Yeah, the spirit and even if they did make it modern day or in the future, kids will always be buying dolls. You know what I mean? Like just make it that. Don't make it more than what it needs to be. I
think I'm going to be more offended if it's just like, oh, it's a robot come to life. We've had that just so many times. Why? Even if it's not voodoo. Yeah, I mean, because voodoo, you hear the word voodoo now, you're like, oh, that's witch doctors. And it's kind of funny now. I think it's like maybe back in the day it might have been scarier.
Yeah, it's definitely a little hokey.
It's kind of like quicksand. I always thought I was going to be dealing with that a lot more, but not so much.
Never came up.
Knock on wood. Yeah, I think you got a talking doll. You're already at hokey level 10.
Right.
Let's take it to 100. You know, like, what are we doing?
And they've done that with the past couple movies. You know,
with Mark Hamill, he's a weird guy. I think he'd be like, yeah, let's do it.
Well, and I do hope, I have high hopes for this upcoming movie. I'm hoping that they do it some justice. And really, at its core, a Child's Play movie just needs to be fun. All of them, even when they were a little bit creepier at the beginning, they were all just fun.
I want the audience screaming, hooting, hollering. It's a movie where if you miss a line, it's not Shakespeare.
Right.
Like I'm going to this for the kills, for the ohs and the good one-liners and
we'll still have to do a Godzilla part 2 so I can yell about Godzilla.
Did you hear that Kong Godzilla is like currently in production or has finished wrapped something?
I'm done with that. Yeah. I'm not even going to see it.
Yep.
It was rough.
But so I am excited for this. We should take the ladies, double date it.
Yeah, we'll double date it. It'll be perfect.
Movie. Yeah. I don't know. I have high hopes for the new one.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. And we want to know too what you guys think, whether you're watching on the live cast or whether you want to drop us an email or, post on Instagram after this episode comes out, maybe. But just let us know, like, what do you guys think about this upcoming movie?
And not only in the movie, like if you've heard any rumors, no spoilers. If you're like, you've somehow pirated the copy from North Korea or something, don't spoil it.
Fun fact about that, Child's Play, which one was it? There was one of them that got leaked on YouTube.
Yes.
Like 2 weeks before it came out.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's just a crappy time we live in.
It just gets leaked and
so let us know what you want to see either from the new movie, from a possible, I think with these kind of movies, they're always hoping for sequels.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's just like, nope, just a one-off reboot. We want to make it because
I don't think anybody is writing, for a movie like this, nobody's writing a one-off.
No, you can't.
It's built
even
for a
if
sequel.
It's most likely going to be a one-off. You're right. 2 or 3 sequels to it. Especially if you got Mark Hamill on retainer. Let us know about if you like the ideas about our VR game or like what kind of a video game you would like to see. Even like kind of a strategy game where you're constantly trying to refix your house or something. And
maybe just maybe we could make kind of a bonus content for some of you guys where we will play that Child's Play VR game.
Yeah.
If it's available.
If it's available or any type, we'll do a little
that'd be fun
playthrough of it. That'd be so fun because Dave has a Vive VR, so we'd be there in Jijan. Yeah, we got buddies with VR systems. Now, one last thing before we go.
Sure.
Which we were worried that we weren't going to be able to really talk much about this. But
because all the movies are kind of a little similar.
Wonky. You know what I'm surprised we haven't seen? One of those really good indie board games out of Child's Play. Like, those horror. Yeah. There's so many board games now where it's like, one person's the murderer and all the rules are crazy hard. But I think that a very good medium for
I'm guessing
series.
There's a licensing issue there that's preventing people.
Who's producing this?
Oh gosh, I don't even
hold
know.
on one second. I'm gonna look at the original.
Orion or Orion? Orion, yeah.
Is it Orion?
Yeah.
They were from, it's one of those logos you see from the 80s that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that was the original.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, Orion.
Maybe there was a licensing issue. Who knows?
Well, it's funny too because now Orion's produced. So like, have they just been laying low for the last 20? Because they
Who knows? I don't know if they're doing this one. I mean, I
think they are.
Well, you know what? We're gonna look that up. And
you know what? MGM, United Artists, was the original one at least. So I
saw Orion somewhere. I don't remember exactly where.
Yeah. But this okay. Yeah, the new one is being produced.
We're doing some on the spot Googling people.
I'm just really curious. I'm if it's Orion, that would be. Oh no, it's MGM still.
Okay. But yes, I mean, I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that's tying up people from making their own content. But if that VR game is available, we'll definitely be playing it for you guys. And we'll be.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Dave's got the 1 second.
The film is scheduled to be released in a week.
Yeah,
this year
week.
By Orion Pictures through United Artists releasing. So United Artists must own Orion and they're like a joint venture. But United Artists, they used to do the James Bond movies.
Oh, okay.
I thought they went under too, but it's weird. Who knows? And there's the first Child's Play film. It's the first one since Seed of Chucky that won't be produced by Universal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Interesting. And it's also the first one in a while that hasn't gone straight to DVD.
Yeah. It's a monster Universal has lost.
Yeah. So, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. That's our time. Which, like Dave was saying, we were a little bit concerned. We were like, man, these movies are kind of similar. Like, are we gonna have enough time to fill up our time slot? Oh, more than enough. We could go another episode
for sure.
But we really appreciate you guys listening. And if you get a chance, pop over to iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play, wherever you guys listen. Give us a rating, give us a thumbs up.
Share, tell your friends, tell your family.
And it's on YouTube now too. Yes. So if every episode gets uploaded to YouTube, so if you're the type that would prefer to have that going, we any way that you want to watch / listen.
We open it up to the masses.
Exactly. So we just love you nerds, and we will see you next week.
Catch you later. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. The next franchise we'll be unpacking is The Legend of Zelda Part 2. But in the meantime, feel free to drop us a line with any questions, comments, or future episodes at franchiseunpacked@gmail.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify, and be sure to share so we can keep these episodes coming your way. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.